Welcome to Folktales of Africa. Today's story is about Adaeze, the shapeshifter. Once upon a time, in a distant land in Africa, there lived a woman named Adaeze. She possessed an extraordinary gift, the power to shift between various animal forms. She was known as the shapeshifter by the people of her village. Adaeze was a humble and compassionate person who was loved by everyone in her community. Adaeze's remarkable ability were not always a source of joy in her life. She had been cursed by her wicked stepmother, a woman who couldn't bear to see Adaeze's radiant beauty and kindness shine brighter than her own. In her early years, Adaeze's life had been filled with love from her mother, who had passed away when she was just a child. Her mother had nurtured her with love and kindness, and Adaeze had grown up to be a beautiful and gentle soul. Her beauty, both inside and out, was a gift she shared freely with those around her. When her father remarried, he had no way of knowing the depth of his new wife's wickedness. The stepmother was consumed by envy over Adaeze's grace and charm. One fateful day, her jealousy took a dark turn, and she said, "Look at her. She thinks she's beautiful. Wait till I deal with her." Then, she went to visit a local witch to seek a way to put an end to Adaeze's beauty. "What brings you here, woman? What do you want here? Use this on her when you get home, and you will get what you want. But remember, there are consequences." She was severely warned that there were consequences. Adaeze's stepmother did not care and believed she had achieved a wicked goal, and indeed she did. Adaeze's beauty transformed as she changed shapes, but her inner beauty and her kindness remained intact. As she grew up, she displayed her unique ability to transform into different animals. It was as natural to her as breathing. She could become a graceful deer, a powerful eagle, or a tiny butterfly. The villagers marveled at her talent and saw her as protector of their home. She was so humble and everyone loved her. She never used her power for personal gain or to boast about her ability. Instead, she used them to help other people. When the fields needed plowing, she would transform into an ox and help. When there was fire in the forest, she would change into an eagle and carry a bucket of water to douse the flame. Her compassion knew no bounds. She tended to the sick and wounded, whether they were human or animals. She often transformed into a gentle healer, tending to those in need. Everyone in the village adored her, and she was known as a selfless and kind person. Her life was marked with humility and compassion, a contrast behavior to her wicked stepmother. Adaeze did not let her curse and pain disturb her normal life. She helped when she could and did what she can, and this angered her stepmother. So, while her stepmother curse had changed the course of her life, it did not dim the radiance of her soul. One day, a neighboring kingdom learned of Adaeze's remarkable ability. The king of that kingdom was so arrogant and selfish and believed he must have every exceptional and unique thing in his court so as to impress his guests. He then sent his guards to go fetch her. Then he said to his guards,
"I hear there is a girl who can turn into any shape. Find her and bring her here for me. Let her entertain me."
His guard went on a journey to Adaeze's village to find Adaeze and bring her. When they found her, the most senior of the guards said to her, "Adaeze, my king asks for you. He asks that you return with us. and if you obey, you enjoy all the gift of life. And Adaeze replied, "Why should I come with you? I will go nowhere. I don't want any of your riches. Please leave me alone and go and tell your king I am not coming anywhere." They returned back to tell their king of Adaeze's refusal. The king screamed, "What? She refuses me? Find that girl and bring her to me at all costs." The king then sent his soldier to capture her and bring her to his kingdom against her will. When they arrived at her village, they found her, shackled her, placed a chain on her arm and neck, and took her away. The villagers were sad and devastated, knowing that they have lost someone so special. In the king's court, Adaeze was imprisoned and maltreated. The king forced her to change into any shape at his own whim for his guests' amusement. She would become a tiger or a monkey, and each transformation became more heart-wrenching. The king showed no mercy and used the chain he had placed on her neck to control her and determine what animal she could change into. Adaeze was so sad and her heart ached for her home. One night, as she sat alone in her prison cell, the king's servant threw an old woman into her cell. The old woman was wounded and looked severely beaten up with blood all over her body. Adaeze tore up part of her clothes and dipped it into her bowl of water given to her to clean this old woman's wound. The old woman was touched by Adaeze's kindness and began to ask her questions. Adaeze told her about her cause and how the king was using her for his amusement. Unknown to Adaeze, this was the old witch that helped her stepmother many years ago. The old woman told Adaeze that she too was captured by the king and thrown into the same cell as hers because she refused to do his bidding. He asked the guard to beat her up and throw her in jail until she was ready to please the king. The old woman did not tell Adaeze that she knew about her cause, but the old woman felt pity for Adaeze as she sensed some sadness and loss. Her humility and compassion had been twisted by the arrogant king. In that moment, the old woman felt the urge to help Adaeze. So, she broke the chains with magic off Adaeze's neck, and immediately Adaeze could change into any form again. "Go, my daughter, break the curse and be free of this curse." This time, Adaeze thanked the old woman and turned into a little mouse and left the cell. Carefully, Adaeze navigated the palace place, avoiding the guards, and ventured deep into the forest. In the forest, she changed into a fierce lion and summoned all the giant animals within the forest. All the animals raided the king's court, and the king fled for his life, and all his guards ran for their life, and they never returned there again. Adaeze, who was now a powerful lion, roared with all her might. Everyone around fled, leaving the horses unattended. Adaeze then changed back into her animal form and released the horses. Then she galloped out of the palace, carrying her back to her village. As she got to her village, she did as she was instructed by the old woman. Then the curse was lifted from her and went straight to her stepmother's body. At first, her stepmother was shocked at what touched her, and then she changed into a mouse. She panicked as she was transforming into a little mouse, and then as she changed, she ran away from the house and never returned. But her curse this time was she would remain a mouse for the rest of her life, never to become a human again. The villagers were happy to see Adaeze again, but they knew that she had suffered in the hand of the king. But they still remembered her as someone filled with humility and compassion. From that day on, Adaeze continued to use her power for the well-being of her people, helping those in need and protecting her village when she could. The lesson in this story is kindness and compassion are important virtues that should be practiced in life. Cruelty and mistreatment of others are not sustainable and can result in consequences for anyone involved in it. Remember that goodness ultimately triumphs over wickedness. Thank you for listening and thank you for watching. See you in the next story. Bye.